It's Halloween. Don't you love it? I love this time of year. Just because we finally cool off a little bit here at our home in Austin, Texas. We had up to 95 just a couple of days ago. And then in came a nice, cool, cold front. And oh my goodness, all the windows are open. All the shades are up. We're just letting that cool air blow through the house. It is so refreshing. Anyway, Michele here at home in Austin, and it's been a while since I've got to talk to you guys. We've had a lot going on, and I haven't had a chance to put up some videos. But today I want to share a canning video about pork chile verde, one of our favorite things to have on the pantry shelf. I use pretty much whatever's on sale, a nice piece of pork shoulder or pork butt. I dice it up. This one happened to be on the bone, so I had to take the bone out and dice up the pork into nice, a little bit larger than normal cubes, because when you can it, you don't want to have tiny cubes that can get too tough. But for some reason, pork doesn't have that issue as much as something like chicken. It stays nice and tender. So what I did, I cut up all the pork. I had that ready. The day before, I had roasted a lot of chilies. I have a whole lot of Anaheim chilies. I have a few serranos. I roasted some tomatillos, some serranos. Oh, I already said that. And put some of them in the blender. Half of the chilies I chopped up, and we're going to keep that separate just to give some texture to the sauce with the pork chile verde. So into the blender goes a lot of the tomatillos, chilies, some cilantro, and some chicken broth. Now, I didn't have any homemade chicken broth at this time, so I used that Better Than broth, and you can see there was a little bit left in the bottom, but I went ahead and added that to the blender. And look at that color. It's so bright green and so fresh. It's just, oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. Anyway, so we're taking all these spices and then put them in the mortise and pestle, and we're going to grind them up. Now, using whole spices just gives a really bright, fresh flavor to the chile verde, but you can use ground. I would just use, a little bit less than what's called for in the recipe, and it's kind of just to your taste, because this is getting mostly cooked before you even can it. So you will not have anything raw that you couldn't actually, taste and make sure you could adjust the flavors to your choice. So into this, I'm going to add a lot of garlic, some homegrown oregano, which I'm very proud of because I actually got something to grow here in the heat in Texas. We're going to add a lot of garlic. We're going to add salt and pepper, just a lot of things. And you can find all that in the description below. I'm going to add the recipe. This is a recipe from Rachael Cooks with Love, and she's just a wonderful cook using a lot of Mexican flavors, and it just turns out, it's the best one I've found so far, and I've tried many. So you're going to take your pork and brown it in the pan, and I do this a little at a time, so I went ahead and got 2 pans because I was doubling the recipe. Let it brown as good as you can. Don't crowd the pan. You don't want it to steam. You want it to turn a nice brown color and get that really delicious caramelized flavor. Yeah, just like that. So I'm going to take it out, add some more, and once it's all ready, we're going to start building the sauce. Don't you just love that sound? The sound of the meat getting all nice and browned and caramelized and full of flavor. You're going to let the meat cook over a medium heat until all the juices evaporate and starts sizzling again. Then you'll be adding in the onions. Oh yeah, so I took the bone and the scraps. I put in a bunch of water with it, of course, and I started cooking it. To this, I'm going to add all the flavorings you would want to use in a broth. And that's the broth I was talking about that we'll use to make ramen later on, and I can that up as well. My daughter loves to make us ramen, and we use a bunch of broccoli and spices And sometimes we add thin sliced pork tenderloin that's marinated in a plum sauce. Oh, yes, that's really good. So by this time, it's been a little while. So it's a nice recipe. You can add things. You walk away for a little while, let it cook. You come back and add some more. So here we're going to add the onions and all that sauce and all the herbs and the garlic and everything else. It's going to cook for a little longer on the stove. Add the bay leaves. Just building all the flavor we can into the sauce. And I think it cooks for another 20-30 minutes. And then we'll be adding some diced potato. Okay, so we kind of like Halloween around here. I've been decorating since the kids were little. And I love to just add just a couple of things every year, some interesting things that make it fun. I have these Hogwarts signs I found from Amazon years ago. And here's our mantle dressed up. We started a new business. We're selling those little tiny pumpkins and knit pumpkins. My husband does a lot of laser engraving on coasters and things. Oh, hi, Sadie. Sadie is our lab rescue. The funny thing, everyone thinks she's still a puppy, but she's almost 8 years old. She's just a little petite lab. So here's some more of our decorations. Probably 15 years ago, I cut these bats out. They were from Martha Stewart. She used to be the queen of Halloween with all her crafts. She had these in her magazine, and you would photocopy and enlarge. So those have been hanging there. I took old Halloween witches' hats that we had from other costumes. I added those. Just put a needle and thread with the clear fishing line to hang those. Lots of fall leaves. Oh, and I hand-painted this picture. I love this raven. I saw it on Pinterest, and I sort of made my own rendition of it. And these are really fun, too. I'm not sure if they sell these anymore on Amazon, but these keys came on a ring, and they're just great big, heavy, old castle-looking keys. A little bit rusted. They're just cool. But so my husband had to grind the ring to get them off of it so I could print out these wings, hot glue them on there. Every year I have to re-glue them because they seem to come apart easily. It's really hard to store them because they want to lay sideways. So now I'm going to decorate the table. Our poor table has seen a lot of years of use. We've done tons of crafts and things, so there's scratches, but it's well loved. So I started with a lot of candles. We've got some vases with different fall branches and leaves and picks in them. It's just really pretty coloring. I love the warm, rich colors of Halloween, I guess you'd call it. These mugs I found, like I said, probably, 20 years ago at Walmart. I think they were like $1 each or something. So they're a lot of fun. We use those every year. I have twinkle lights in the candle holders at each end of the table. And I'm going to add our pumpkins. So I have been knitting these for a few months now to stock up and have available on our new Etsy store. I'll have the link down in the description, but our store is under the name Cedar Studios. And these are just really fun, really pretty colors for fall. We'll also have just gorgeous white ones, or they're more of a cream color, and some tan and brown ones to have that rich Pottery Barn look for Thanksgiving. You can find the link in the description, like I said, but the main thing about these pumpkins is that I put a wire in each of the stems so you can bend them any direction you want. It's a fun little feature. I think it gives them a really cute, realistic look. We're decorating the table with a lot of these pumpkins. I have some on the mantle. I just put them all over the house. They're really cute. And then I created those little tiny ones you saw earlier. They're little baby pumpkins that hang either from a rope or you can fill a bowl with them as a bowl filler. And I have all kinds of Halloween colors. We'll also have those for Thanksgiving as well. There's the pumpkin babies I was talking about. They're so tiny and cute. They're a lot of fun to decorate with. Okay, So back to the pork chile verde. At the end of it cooking for a while and making the meat all nice and tender in there, we're going to add pumpkins. We're going to add potatoes. So I do not cut these very small because potatoes usually get very mushy in canning when you can them up in a jar. But because I think these are in a thick sauce, they don't break down as much. They still keep a nice texture, but I do cut them a little larger so they don't become too small and just melt right into the sauce during the canning process. But I'm going to go ahead and divide all the ingredients. I kind of put all the meat and potatoes in first, then I add all the juices on top. Make sure you wipe down the rim of the jars with some vinegar because there is some oil in the cooking and you don't want that to ruin your seal. I add the nice lids. Lately I've been using 4-jar lids. I haven't had a single failure with those. Sometimes I have ball lids left over. I haven't had an issue with those either, but the 4-jar lids are just a little bit heavier duty. Into the pot they go, processing for the amount of time it takes to process meat. For me at my elevation, that's 90 minutes for quart jars and 75 minutes for pint jars. I thank you all for watching my video. I know it's been a while, but I would love it if you would like and subscribe. It's going to help my channel grow. But look at these beautiful jars of pork chile verde. We're going to love that all winter long. And I hope you guys will consider visiting our new Etsy store. There's a lot of fun stuff available there. Have a wonderful fall and a happy Halloween to you all.